Hello, it's Sibu and Spare, and we're back with another video. What are we doing today?
So we have a Nigerian representing South Africa again on the world stage. But before we get into it, let's just take a look at this clip and then you tell me what you think about it.
And what does it mean to you representing South Africa with such a great quarter-mile history, the world record holder is there as well? What does it mean to you to represent South Africa on the world stage?
It means that this world is the best. I mean, I'm happy that I'm running for this country, the world record holder. And yeah, I feel good running for it.
Now, you sound very South African. You were born and raised there, but you seem to have a Nigerian name. So tell us about the Nigerian connection.
So my father is actually Nigerian. We were born, me and my siblings were born here in South Africa. So yeah, so the name Okon is Nigerian. Yes.
Since you started running, do you hear people asking you, are you Nigerian or what's the connection? Like, have you been hearing from Nigerian fans?
Definitely, there's a lot of athletes in the warm-up here that are asking me, I'm Nigerian, why am I representing South Africa? But yeah, I get those questions a lot.
And you were obviously born in South Africa, right? Yeah, you know, you definitely have that, the accent, so definitely...
the Nigerian accent comes out.
Born and bred South African. So, just give us a message to your fans, family, friends in South Africa.
And thank you guys for supporting me. I'm here. It's mine.
So what are your thoughts on all that?
I mean, move along. There's nothing to see here, you know. The guy is South African. That's...
Are you sure about that?
I mean, okay, you know what? I learned my lesson with the Udeme situation of assuming. But based on what he's saying and, you know, what he's been saying in his interviews, based on that, he's South African. But unless there is some, you know, something that we don't know or some more fraud situation. But like everything about him like screams South African. What can I say? Like he gives a very South African vibe. Like there was no mistaking him even when the guy was speaking to him as like, nah, you South African.
So this morning I posted a community post like every other day where if a South African does well like on the world stage, I usually post that just to celebrate with other South Africans, with people on the channel. We usually celebrate South African wins and all stuff like that. And then when I put him up and I stated that he won the gold medal in the 400 meter race, 420 men's for South Africa. People saw the name and they started to question. They started to question everything. So this is why I think this is a good topic to talk about, because people are questioning him now because of his name. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw his name as well, I was like, This one is not make sure. This one is not make sure.
That is not make sure.
I saw the name.
What are the chances that every case we come across is going to be a Chidima
It could be hard. Could be very hard. You don't know. So I saw his name.
And so of course, even with the like these fake marriages and things going on, like it's crazy.
So I saw his name and I was like, this one is not make sure for real. And then, but I posted it up anyway because I wanted to celebrate the win. He's representing South Africa, and I'm happy about that. So now,
but we shouldn't be like that. They are part of our identity.
No, they're not.
They are part of our identity.
No. So that's what
when you're half, like that's what I want.
That's what I want to discuss.
How far do we go? How far are we going as South Africans? Like
that's what I want to discuss in this video, right? Like. Okay, so with Chidema's case, so a lot of South Africans were complaining about her look, her representation, everything about her screamed Nigerian, like everything about her. Name, look, the way she speaks as well. But I think
the way she speaks didn't really scream South African either. So that's why.
So now with beauty pageants, it's a different thing you're looking for than with a sport athlete. That's the thing. So people are gonna look at this and be like, but you guys are hypocrites now, because people were saying that no, why is it now that we don't have a problem with Udeme Okon, but we have a problem with Chidima. And the difference is beauty pageants require you to represent a specific subset of people, and they literally judge you on how you look, and how you speak, and even on how you think. They ask you specific questions, and if you don't answer them correctly, then that will bring you down.
Stanley, Rebecca, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling great.
Okay, your question is, if you had a chance to legalize something that is illegal in your country, what would that be and why?
Can you repeat the question, please?
If you had a chance to legalize something that is illegal in your country, what would that be and why?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca Stanley Muna. I'm 20 years old, contestant number 16, representing Ubongo. If I get a chance to illegalize something that is not illegal, right?
Legalize.
To legalize something
That's illegal.
that's illegal. So can you repeat the question, please?
Okay. If you had a chance to legalize something that is illegal in your country, what would that be and why?
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Rebecca Stanley Muna, 20 years old at age, representing Ubongo. I'm contestant number 16. If I get a chance to legalize something that is not illegal, I will. I didn't get the question.
Stuff like that.
And those are obviously, a lot of that is influenced by where you come from.
Yes.
Like,
So all of that, how you look,
Your
how you speak,
culture.
how you think,
Yes.
all of that cultural experience, all of that is being judged in a
Yes.
pageant. All of that is first. That's primary stuff.
Yeah.
And then with sports, it's all about athletic performance.
yes.
It's all about how well
Ability,
you can, how
like-
well you can do
Yes.
in your certain field or in your sport.
Okay.
And then representation is secondary.
Yes.
That stuff is not the primary of sports. Like let's
Yeah.
say track and field. In track and field, the primary objective is how good you are athletically.
Yes.
Not about how you look, not about how you talk, not about how you think. So that's the main differentiating factor here, is that with pageant, representation is primary, and then with other sports like track and field, representation is secondary. So that's why in this case, if Udeme is a actual South African citizen,
Okay, I like how you put it. Like, for this one, it's primary, and then the other, it's
Yes.
secondary. Yeah.
because in sports, nobody is in
Nobody
sports.
cares about the.
Yeah, because of the way you look,
Yes.
because of the way you speak.
Yeah.
It's not about that. It's about your athletic
ability,
performance.
yeah.
Well, beauty pageants, it's literally about that. How you look, how you speak, how you think. So that's the differentiating factor. These things are not the same. So that's why with Chidima, it was very important that she actually represents a South African culture, which she didn't, and that's what people were complaining about. Now with Udema's case, it's fine. If he is a proper South African and he was born here and his mother's actually South African and there's none of this funny stuff that we found out about Chidima, none of that funny stuff, then
Perfect.
he's a South African citizen,
Yeah.
then he can represent us in sports. That is
Yeah.
perfectly fine. But my caveat to this is that the fact that people ask him why are you representing South Africa instead of Nigeria? That is the problem.
Since you started running, do you hear people asking you, are you Nigerian or what's the connection? Like, have you been hearing from Nigerian fans?
Definitely, because even there's a lot of athletes in the warm up here, they're asking me, I'm Nigerian, why am I representing South Africa? But yeah, I get those questions a lot.
That's a problem. And this is why I say, Jolofinas, if you're gonna have a Nigerian child,
Yeah.
give them a South African name. If you want them to represent South
And
Africa
if you
anyway.
want them to not suffer these kind of problems.
Yeah.
Well, these
Like, I don't understand.
identity issues. Like, yeah, if you're gonna be primarily based in South Africa,
You want to represent South
and you
Africa.
want to represent South Africa.
Have a South
And you
Africa.
want them to also have a comfortable life in South Africa. I'm not trying to dictate how you should name your kids or whatever, but I would advise you to give them a South African name. Like these cases, because those were the red flags in all these cases. The
Presentation.
biggest red flag was obviously the name, right?
Yeah.
That's and as well with this guy as well, Udeme as well. And everybody, that's the first thing everybody's wondering and asking, especially with the whole Chidima situation going on. So it's like, I feel like these kids are always gonna experience that.
So now that's my next point now. So a lot of people are arguing that Udeme is, or Udeme, I don't even know how to pronounce it.
Udeme or something.
Yeah,
Udeme.
Udeme is not actually South African because his father's Nigerian.
His father's side. But like,
No.
can we just go by those? Isn't that like a little like old school?
Yes,
you
but then
know,
that's how
thinking.
that's how lineage actually works. That's how lineage,
Yeah.
actual lineage actually works.
Like even now, like women take man's surname when you get
So-
married.
so-
Like,
so-
okay.
you generally what your father is, especially as a boy.
Yeah.
You generally what your father is. You inherit his surname. You inherit his culture.
Yeah.
You inherit.
But
his,
now we're blurring the lines of that because now we are making mother and father equal in like.
but
my
clearly it's not
identity.
because there's no South African name in his name. Clearly they're not equal.
Yeah, that's the crazy part. They never put any South African names.
Yes.
Like, what is that?
So that tells you that there's something that goes on.
I don't understand. Is it the mothers?
That's the thing. Like, so a lot of people will argue that this guy here is not South African because his father's Nigerian.
Yeah.
And if your father's Nigerian, then you generally inherit the culture, you inherit the religious beliefs, you
Yeah.
inherit the surname, you inherit all of your father's like lineage
Yeah.
as well. So by that logic, yeah, he might be Nigerian, but
Like, does that make now an Okon that Okon a South African surname now?
it's you see that's the point. You see,
And like, we can't fight that it is because
no, it's not a South African surname. That's the thing. It's not.
so his descendants, are they South African? If we take away the by birth situation and born to and ancestry and everything,
No, because he's Nigerian.
let's look at the individual.
So let's
Let's put even the law aside
I'm just-
for a
no,
second
that's
and
what I'm saying,
like
that-
base it on like
look at let's
common law.
let's start with the law, right? The law. Obviously, if his mother's South African, then he has a South African citizenship.
Yeah.
And he's South African. That's fine. Okay, let's put the law to the side.
Yes.
Now, commonly in black culture,
Yeah.
it's like if your father is Zulu, now Umzu.
Yes.
Common.
So don't you think we are just enforcing our way of thinking? But it's not just here, right?
It's everywhere.
Which I feel
Black
like
culture.
also in Nigeria they also
Yes.
follow the same kind of
Yes.
guidelines as well, or frameworks rather, to establish who is who and who is what, right? So
And I know Nigerians.
we're not
I've seen-
encouraged in saying that he is Nigerian.
I've actually seen comments of Nigerians saying that no, he's Nigerian because his father's Nigerian.
Yeah.
Yes, in black culture, that's generally how it works. It's like if your father is Zulu, then you're Zulu. If your father's Nigerian, then you are Nigerian.
You are Nigerian.
Now it's like because of South African law allows them to have citizenship, allows them to be a South African citizen.
Yeah.
So by that, for me, I don't really have a problem with him representing South Africa in track and field. Okay, culturally he's Nigerian, but by law he's South African. He might even have dual citizenship. He might even be South African and also Nigerian at the same time. We don't know, but clearly he's representing South Africa.
Yeah.
So he's South African, which is fine. It's fine. I have no problem with that.
Yeah.
If he's South African legally,
Yes.
then it's cool. He can represent South Africa in track and field, and he's doing well. He's a good athlete. But just to put the people's minds at ease, right? Whenever a case like this happens, where a Nigerian South African person goes on to represent South Africa,
Yeah.
just to put people's minds at ease, Home Affairs should thoroughly just do a background check, make sure everything is in order. you know?
Yeah.
And then if people,
So are you specifically saying this to Nigerians or just like people who are half?
I'm saying Nigerians. I'm just saying Nigerians, but it can be, if you don't have a South African name, Home Affairs needs to do a proper
Like people
background
can
check.
get away with them because Zoom have a lot of like Nguni names. And stuff.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just saying if you don't have a South African name and surname, Home
Yeah.
Affairs just need to do a young background check on
Okay.
you. Make sure everything is in order.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Just checking.
Make sure everything is
I
in
mean,
order.
I don't think that's wrong
And
entirely.
then it's fine. Then you can go represent the country because
You're guilty until proven innocent.
we don't want cases where like an actual Chidima can actually get away with like
Yeah.
identity fraud or with some sort
Yes.
of fraud in order to gain citizenship, you know. So now I want to speak on the whole Southgerian whole topic.
Yeah.
Stupid. It's,
Elephant in the room.
it's stupid.
That is definitely an elephant in the
It's
room
either-
that
it's-
needs to be addressed. They're youngins growing up and they are, you know, Southgerian.
It's stupid. It's either you're South African or you're Nigerian.
I'm Southgerian, of course I eat egusi and ibam.
Yo, I'm Southgerian. Of course, because I did Southie and I dress where they would think I'd be a whole boy.
I'm Southgerian. I'm eating meat twice a week.
Yo, I'm Southgerian. Of course, I know if it makes sense if I not add any insult.
I'm Southgerian. Of course, I negotiate every day.
Okay? Pick a side. It's either you're South African.
But no,
Nigerian.
you're telling them in a way you're telling them to deny a half of themselves.
No, you don't have to. But pick a
I
side.
mean, it's easier for you to say because you don't have any tornness in your identity.
Yes.
You are purely Zulu from all angles. What happens when my mother is this, my father is this? Like I'm equally Nigerian as I am South African.
a side.
Like, well, sides
There's no-
sometimes
is there-
automatically pick themselves because you are more in this country. So you're born in this country.
Then you're South
you
African.
understand this and
What
whatever.
is the South
but
Nigerian
but
thing now?
Southgerian is just saying that you are not saying like that's your on your identity card. It says Southgerian.
That's what I'm saying. That does.
But
that,
like,
you see that part.
That's your identity. That's you.
No. It's either you're South African or you're Nigerian. This is how and why things start to get muddy. If you
Yeah.
allow these kind of things to happen, I'm talking from a self-preservation point of view now.
Yes.
Like if you want to preserve South African identity, if you want to preserve South African culture
Yeah.
over the next 100 years or 100,000 years or whatever, Wuti South
You need that
African.
strictness.
Yeah,
so
Wuti,
you
a
say.
South African is this. There's no Wuti, you can be a South African and be a Nigerian at the same time kind of thing. It's either you're South African
I'm
or you're
just
not.
basing it on like what's going through my veins, you know. But
You know what they do? You
obviously,
know what they do in
my
the States?
identity is
You know what they do in the
what?
States? Especially
You denounce.
No, especially when you're like a first generation
Yeah.
American. If you're a first generation American, you say I am American, but my parents come from this country.
Yes.
You don't say I'm American
That's true.
Russian. I'm American Russian.
Yeah.
There's no such thing.
Such a thing.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. That's
First generation Americans always do that. I'm American,
Yeah.
but my parents come
I'm a
from
first generation South
American.
African.
Yes.
I'm currently 20 years old, and I've been traveling back and forth to Trinidad and Tobago since I was born. Growing up, I feel like I faced a lot of backlash being a first-generation American and having my roots in Trinidad. Both of my parents are from Trinidad and Tobago, and a matter of fact, my whole family is from Trinidad. Being one of the few in my family born in America, I feel like throughout my childhood, I faced a bit of an identity crisis.
You should be a
My
first generation
parents,
South
so
African.
my dad comes from this.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is the Southgerian thing now? That doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
They're making this up now. They're trying to instill a culture. in South
Yeah.
Africa.
Yes.
Yes.
Sensitizing us to.
So now, if you think about it, I'm speaking from a self-preservation point of view. If you think about it, Nigerians are coming over here and impregnating women and having kids and all that stuff like that, and they infusing their culture into South Africa.
Yeah.
Not as many or barely any South Africans are going and doing that.
Yeah.
South Africans are now going there and impregnating women and having kids
Yeah.
there and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they coming here and impregnating women, having kids, and also infusing their culture into their kids. And
Yeah.
now a South African child has Nigerian culture and all that kind of stuff like that. So if you think about it from a self-preservation point of view, at some point, because we are not spreading our culture elsewhere and they coming and spreading their culture here, their culture is going to take over. And a South African and a Nigerian will be indistinguishable.
Yeah.
You understand what that means?
Like people will accept it as part of South Africa. Like that is a South African culture.
So I'm saying like it's either you South African or you Nigerian. That's it. First generation South African, but my father's a Nigerian. That's all you're supposed to say. Southgerian doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
They're trying to create it.
Yeah.
And what is that? What is the Southgerian?
What is it?
What is
It's not even a country.
Yes, it's not even a country. You see, so this is how they're trying to synthesize us into accepting a culture that isn't really ours. In this case, my only complaint is that Udeme doesn't have a South African name. That's my only complaint. If he did have it, people wouldn't be questioning why he's running for South Africa instead of Nigeria. The fact that people are questioning that is a red flag.
It's a red flag.
If other Nigerians are coming up to him and be like, but why are you running for South Africa? That's a red flag. And again, Jolofinas, if you having children, give them a South African name. Just people say to Udeme Okon would have been fine. That would have been fine. At least people say it was there. Was Pelele or whatever South African name you want to give. That would have been fine. Then it would be like, if you see the name, then you'd be like, okay, he's South African. That's my only complaint. But other than that, I'm happy that he got the gold. I'm happy that he's representing South Africa. He's a good athlete, and he's clearly got a bright future ahead of him.
Absolutely.
And I'll be supporting him. Like in terms of like athletics and sports, this representation thing doesn't really matter to me. If you're a good athlete, I'll support you. And if you are a legal South African citizen representing us, I'll support you. We just need to run a background check now just to make sure. But other than that, if he's good, he'll be good.
Absolutely.
So you guys let us know what you think about this whole situation.
Let us know.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep watching. Goodbye.
We'll check you guys in the next one.